What's up, gamers? My name is Patty Fatty Cake, and today we will be looking at the optimal way to upgrade your range gear in old school RuneScape. Just like my magic version of this, we will be doing this by budget, since it does take much longer to make the GP required for the upper end setups than it does to get the levels required to wield them. I'm going to be ignoring a lot of the niche items. I'm going to be focusing more on the things that you need to do endgame PVM. Before we get into it, this was a viewer suggested video. If you do have any suggestions yourself, please let me know down in the comment section below. Always happy to make these for you. But yeah, let me get my template ready and we can play some RuneScape dress up. Let's start this one off where everything originally began, with the maximum end of the free-to-play setup. We got the full green dragonhide, maple shortbow, power amulet, coif, and the adamant arrows. This full setup is going to require a level of 40 ranged and 40 defense. The 40 defense just comes from the body, so if you are a pure or something, you can just do a regular leather body, and it will only be a requirement of 1 defense and 40 range. So now we're members and we have 100k to our name. The first thing that you want to get is the Ava's accumulator or similar. I forgot whatever the first one's called, but you want the backpack because this is going to make it so you use way less ranged ammo while training the range skill. In this tier, all the upgrades are so cheap, so I'm going to just do these rapid fire. We're going to do the blue dragonhide, the magic shortbow, which greatly increases our accuracy, our damage, and it gives us a special attack. The glory ammy is a must-have. It's just a straight upgrade over the power amulet, and it has a very convenient teleport. We're going to rock the snakeskin boots and the snakeskin bandana. Not a massive upgrade, but they're basically free. So this is the first weapon that we're getting that is really going to be a paradigm shift in the way that range works for you and your account. And we're adding the rune crossbow, also some bolts. I chose to picture the ruby ones here since you use those a lot in PVM. So basically what this is doing is we're separating range into 2 different styles of weapon. You have your long range weapon, which is usually a little bit slower. That's going to be our crossbow to start. And then you want your rapid and or close range weapon, which is going to be our magic shortbow for a considerable amount of time here. Moving along, I'm going to skip red d'hide and go straight to black just so I don't have to make the graphic, and this is going to bring our requirement up to 70 ranged. We will then switch out our black dragon shield for the Book of Law, which is only 10k. It gives us a little bit more range accuracy, but the real winner here is the +5 prayer bonus. I should mention that this is a really good time to get Void. I'm just going to put the helm up there so it doesn't look super cluttered with the full set, but this is going to give you a massive damage boost over monsters that have low defense. If it is a monster that does have high defense, you are going to want to stick with your regular type of range setup, but for anything that is super squishy, you're definitely going to be rocking the Void and then Elite Void once you have the requirements. The next upgrade that we are going to get, and the final one for this tier, is going to be the Vorkath backpack, the Ava's assembler. This is going to give us range accuracy, and for the first time in any of these items that is not a weapon or ammo, it is going to increase our range strength by 2. This does require completion of the Dragon Slayer 2 quest. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure that you do like the video. If you are enjoying it, subscribe to my channel, and back to the content. The next 2 tiers are actually going to be really brief because in the range skill, all of the first bunch of upgrades are really cheap, but after that they do get very pricey very quickly, so these kind of intermediate ones just won't have too many upgrades. But without more rambling on, the first one that we're going to get is the Barrow's Gloves. Doesn't really give us a huge bump to our range. It does give us a very minor bump, but the biggest benefit of this is that we can also use these with other styles, so we don't have to do a glove switch with the Van Braces, which makes this a very good early upgrade. And the last one for this tier is we're going to get a partial Blessed d'hide swap. This is going to have the same range attack bonuses as the black d'hide. However, it does give us a prayer bonus, which is super important, and it does have higher defensive stats. And the only upgrade that we can afford in this 1 mil tier is to finish our Blessed d'hide set off with the legs. The boots would actually be, from a bonus perspective, the better purchase here, but I just don't like mismatched armor, so we're gonna go with the legs. Alright, there we go, adding the boots in that we realistically should have done the last one, bringing the total up to 1.3 million GP. Next up, the biggest upgrade so far, we are getting the Toxic Blowpipe. This is going to give us an insane DPS increase for any low defense or short range monster that we are killing. This is actually our best in slot for this category of weapon from here on out, so I have outlined it in purple. We are now going to upgrade our crossbow, the Rune crossbow, to the Dragon crossbow. This upgrade is big, not because the crossbow itself is that much better, but it does enable us to use Dragon bolts, which is going to greatly increase our range strength and allow us to hit much harder. We're going to add an Amulet of Fury into the mix. This does not increase our range accuracy or strength, but it is a great defensive amulet. It does give us a better prayer bonus, and it is very useful for the other two styles as well. Last but not least, I was debating whether to put this one in here or not. We're going to add the Odium Ward. I do think that it's worthwhile. One, you can sell it at any points, but this is going to give us 4 range strength. I never knew it did that. It's actually really good. And it also gives us a little bit of accuracy, but it does bump up our requirements to 60 defense. Wow, I cannot believe that I forgot this, but we are going to add in the Slayer Helm as our last item in this tier. It should have been the first item in this tier. It's super duper important, and you should be wearing it for every Slayer task. It's going to give you a massive percentage-based DPS increase against any Slayer monster you are assigned. First upgrade that we're going to get in this new 100 mil tier is the Necklace of Anguish. It costs us about 13 mil, but it is worth every penny because it does give us 5 range strength bonus, which should give us a max hit in pretty much every setup. Often overlooked, we are going to add the Twisted Buckler to the mix. It's a little bit pricey, but it is going to give us a considerable amount of range strength bonus, and that's going to give us max hits, so we are adding it. Tired of seeing that ring slot empty, so we are using an Archer's Eye. If you're running raids or pretty much any other content where you're using anything other than ranged, you're never going to use this. This ring pretty much will stay in your bank, but if we are looking to just maximize our range setup, you know, it is best in slot. Time to upgrade our weapon. We're getting the Armadillo crossbow. This one costs 42 mil, which is huge, but it is going to make us more accurate. But the big winner here is that it does give us more range, which is very useful in quite a few spaces, like necks. It's very important in certain spots in the Chambers of Xeric, which brings us to our next item, the Dragon Hunter crossbow. Yes, I know I'm going over budget, but just chill out for 1 second here. The Dragon Hunter crossbow only makes sense if you are going to be doing content that is dragons using this crossbow extensively. This is a really good choice if you're looking to grind out Vorkath to make money if you're doing a lot of Chambers of Xeric. And the way that it fits under budget for both of those activities is that you would not be using an Archer's Ring or a Buckler, so you would ditch the 2 of those things to be able to get this crossbow and fill those slots in with something that makes more sense for those setups, which would actually bring this significantly under budget. And we are finally upgrading ourselves to the Bowfa. We're going to have to don the crystal armor as well, so I included all the shard costs in this to corrupt it and get all of the pieces. This is going to cost us, or bring our cost up to 189 million GP, but it will greatly increase our range DPS as well. If you are unaware, the crystal armor set, when utilized with either the Bowfa or the regular crystal bow, gives you a 30% accuracy bonus and a 15% damage bonus as well, which equates to just a shit ton extra DPS. Next, we're going to get the Zerite Vambraces. Honestly, these ones aren't really worth getting unless you're comfortable doing a pretty hefty switch at raids, but if you're okay with doing that, they do give you 2 range strength bonus, which is a max hit in some setups, and they are going to cost you around 164 mil. And next up, we have the dumbest and lowest value upgrade that you can possibly get for the range skill, which is the Pegasian Boots. We are going to be selling them the second we get a bigger cash tier to do this in order to buy the next upgrade. But if we have to stay under 500 mil and we have to spend it all on range and we can't spend it on literally anything else, you can get the Pegasian Boots. Congratulations on your brand new Twisted Bow. It is indeed worth selling literally everything you own for this bow and just rocking it in D-Hide. It simply is that good. I'm not that great at math, so I'm not going to go all too deep into how the Twisted Bow works, but the Twisted Bow's damage and accuracy both roll off of your opponent's magic level or magic accuracy, whichever one is higher. The numbers that it multiplies it out by are pretty absurd. This bow is best in slot at like most of the bosses in old school RuneScape. This is the single best item in the game. Next up, we're going to purchase the Masori armor set. If you cannot afford to purchase the full set in one big chunk, the helm is actually the best one to get first. If you're comfortable doing a full range switch, including the helm, a lot of people don't. They just like camp the Nezi or camp the Slayer helm or something, but it does give you the same range strength bonus as the legs. And in the Zerite band braces just because they are a straight DPS increase. Next, we have the Zerite crossbow. I'm going to put the buckler in there with it. This is a great special attack weapon for tons of different pieces of content in the game. It's basically a must-have at the Tombs of a Mascot at this point. It's also extremely important if you're wanting to run next. If you are looking to run next, you should have gotten this well before the Tbow. You could have done like a Zerite crossbow type of thing, somewhere in between the crystal and the Twisted Bow. I didn't include that in this because that's really only viable if you're going to grind out necks, and I don't particularly like that piece of content, so I didn't really aim it towards that. But if you do want to do that, you can do it. Just get the ZCB, and you can like rock full Armadillo until you can get the Masori. And the very last upgrades for your setup are going to be the Pegasian boots and the ring again. Honestly, these just give you a little bit of range accuracy, and they do cost a ton of GP. They are not worth prioritizing over anything else you see on the screen here, and I would recommend getting those boots as the very last thing you get. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you got something out of this, and if not, I hope it was at least entertaining. If you did enjoy the video, make sure that you drop a like. It helps me out tremendously. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.